Weddings are supposed to mark the beginning of a beautiful journey, a day filled with love, hope, and the promise of a bright future. But for Gladys Ricart, her wedding day became a chilling horror story that shocked the world. On September 26, 1999, Gladys Ricart was radiant in her wedding gown, surrounded by loved ones, preparing for the happiest moment of her life. But as laughter and celebration filled the air, a man stepped into her home, carrying a bouquet of flowers and a gun. Within moments, joy turned into terror, and Gladys's life was tragically cut short. This story isn't just about a horrific crime. It's a tale of obsession, betrayal, and the devastating consequences of unchecked rage. In this video, we'll dive deep into the tragic events of that day, the twisted motives of her killer, and the lasting impact this case has had on domestic violence awareness. Gladys Ricart was a Dominican-American woman living in New Jersey. She was known for her vibrant personality, her love of life, and her deep devotion to her family. At 39, Gladys had built a fulfilling life for herself, working as an accountant and maintaining close ties with her community. Her wedding to James Preston was meant to be a celebration of love and a fresh start. James was described as a kind and supportive partner who adored Gladys. Their relationship was everything she had hoped for after years of navigating the complexities of love and relationships. But Gladys's path to happiness had not been an easy one. Before meeting James, she had been in a long-term relationship with a man named Agustin Garcia. Agustin Garcia was a successful businessman, well-respected in his community. He and Gladys had dated for several years, but their relationship was far from healthy. Garcia was known for his controlling and possessive behavior, and over time, his obsession with Gladys became increasingly toxic. After years of emotional turmoil, Gladys made the brave decision to end their relationship. She sought a life free from Garcia's manipulation, hoping to find peace and happiness on her own terms. But Garcia wasn't willing to let her go. Even after their breakup, he continued to monitor her life, keeping a close eye on her activities. When Gladys began dating James Preston and their relationship turned serious, Garcia's obsession grew more dangerous. Friends and family later revealed that he had made numerous attempts to win her back, but Gladys remained firm in her decision. On the morning of September 26, 1999, Gladys's home was filled with joy. Her family and friends gathered to celebrate her union with James Preston. The living room was adorned with flowers, and a professional photographer was capturing every special moment. Gladys, dressed in her stunning white gown, was glowing with happiness. She couldn't wait to walk down the aisle and begin a new chapter of her life. But as the final preparations were underway, an unexpected visitor arrived. Agustin Garcia, holding a bouquet of flowers, entered the home. At first, those present were confused. Why was Garcia here on such an important day? He handed the bouquet to Gladys, and for a brief moment, it seemed like a gesture of peace. But then, without warning, Garcia pulled out a gun. In an instant, the joyous atmosphere was replaced by sheer terror. Garcia shot Gladys multiple times in front of her horrified family and friends. Chaos erupted as people screamed and tried to process the unimaginable scene unfolding before them. The photographer, still in shock, captured some of the moments before and after the attack. These haunting images would later become powerful evidence of the tragedy that took place. Gladys Ricart, the bride who was moments away from marrying the love of her life, lay lifeless in her own home. Garcia didn't flee the scene. Instead, he calmly waited for the police to arrive, showing no remorse for what he had done. His actions were cold, calculated, and driven by a toxic mix of jealousy and obsession. The trial of Agustin Garcia became a media sensation, drawing widespread attention to the case. During the proceedings, Garcia's defense team tried to frame the murder as a crime of passion, arguing that he had acted out of intense emotional distress upon seeing Gladys marry another man. But the evidence told a different story. The prosecution argued that Garcia's actions were premeditated. He had purchased the gun in advance, brought it to Gladys's home, and carried out the murder with clear intent. The court also heard testimonies from Gladys's family and friends, who described Garcia's controlling behavior and the fear he instilled in those around him. In 2002, Agustin Garcia was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. The verdict brought some sense of justice to Gladys's family, but the pain of her loss remained. Gladys Ricart's murder sent shockwaves through her community and beyond. Her tragic death became a rallying cry for greater awareness of domestic violence and the dangers of obsessive relationships. Every year on the anniversary of her death, the Bride's March takes place in New York City. Women dressed in wedding gowns march through the streets to honor Gladys's memory and raise awareness about domestic violence. The march serves as a powerful reminder of the lives lost to intimate partner violence and the importance of advocating for change. Gladys's story also sparked conversations about the warning signs of toxic relationships and the need for intervention before situations escalate to violence. Her life and legacy continue to inspire efforts to protect others from similar fates. The story of Gladys Ricart is one of love, hope, and unimaginable tragedy. It's a chilling reminder that even the happiest moments can be overshadowed by the darkness of obsession and violence. As we remember Gladys, we honor her resilience and the life she lived. Her story is a call to action, urging us to stand against domestic violence and to support those who may be silently suffering. The tragic story of Gladys Ricart left an indelible mark on her community and spurred crucial conversations about the pervasiveness of domestic violence. Her death highlighted not only the extreme dangers posed by obsessive and controlling partners, but also the warning signs that are often overlooked in toxic relationships. One of the most impactful aspects of Gladys's case is how it brought the issue of emotional and psychological abuse into the spotlight. While Garcia's ultimate act was physical violence, the years leading up to the murder were filled with behaviors indicative of a dangerous pattern: manipulation, control, and refusal to accept rejection. Experts in domestic violence often point to key warning signs in relationships that may seem harmless at first, but escalate over time. In Gladys's case, friends and family later reported Garcia's intense jealousy, his frequent attempts to insert himself into her life, and his refusal to accept their breakup. These behaviors are often precursors to more severe forms of abuse. They create an environment where the victim feels trapped, constantly monitored, and unable to make independent decisions. Tragically, many victims are unaware of how serious the situation has become until it's too late. Gladys's murder underscores the urgent need for early intervention in abusive relationships. Had there been more resources or awareness at the time, perhaps Garcia's escalating behavior could have been addressed before it culminated in violence. Organizations dedicated to combating domestic violence have since used Gladys's story as a case study, emphasizing the importance of support systems for victims. These include counseling services, legal protection, and safe spaces where individuals can seek help without fear of retaliation. For many, the annual Bride's March is more than just a tribute to Gladys. It's a powerful demonstration of solidarity and a reminder that every voice raised against domestic violence matters. Gladys Ricart's case is a stark example of intimate partner violence, IPV, a form of abuse that occurs within romantic relationships. IPV is one of the most common forms of domestic violence, and it often remains hidden behind closed doors. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, nearly 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced physical or sexual violence, most often at the hands of an intimate partner. In the United States alone, over 10 million people experience IPV annually. These statistics reveal a harrowing reality. Gladys's story, though tragic, is not an isolated incident. Her case serves as a reminder of the systemic nature of IPV and the societal changes needed to address it. Education and awareness are key components in breaking the cycle of abuse, as they empower victims to recognize their situations and seek help. In the years since her death, Gladys Ricart has become a symbol of the fight against domestic violence. Her story has inspired countless individuals to take action, whether by supporting victims, advocating for policy changes, or participating in events like the Bride's March. The march itself has grown beyond New York City, with similar events held in other cities across the U.S. and even internationally. Participants often carry signs with messages like "Love shouldn't hurt" and "Stop domestic violence," turning their grief and anger into a powerful force for change. Gladys's family has also played a crucial role in keeping her memory alive. Through interviews, public appearances, and their involvement in advocacy work, they've ensured that her story continues to inspire others. The media coverage of Gladys Ricart's murder played a significant role in bringing her story to a wider audience. News outlets reported extensively on the trial and its aftermath, shining a light on the dangers of domestic violence. However, the case also raised questions about the ethics of media reporting, particularly when graphic or sensitive content is involved. The photographs taken by the wedding photographer on the day of the murder became central to the case, serving as both evidence and a haunting reminder of the tragedy. These images, though difficult to view, served an important purpose. They made the horror of Gladys's death undeniably real. For many, seeing the stark reality of what happened that day was a wake-up call, prompting deeper reflection on the issue of domestic violence. Gladys Ricart's story is a heartbreaking reminder that domestic violence can happen to anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. But her legacy also shows that we can all play a role in preventing similar tragedies. The murder of Gladys Ricart was a devastating event that left her family and community reeling. But in the years since her death, her story has become a beacon of hope and a catalyst for change. Through the tireless efforts of advocates, her memory lives on as a reminder of the urgent need to address domestic violence. Gladys's life, though tragically cut short, continues to inspire others to speak out, seek help, and fight for a world where everyone can live free from fear. If there's one takeaway from her story, it's this: we must never turn a blind eye to the warning signs of abuse. By coming together as a community, we can honor Gladys's legacy and work toward a future where love is never overshadowed by violence. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories that matter. And remember, help is always available for those who need it. Let's continue to raise our voices against domestic violence, because silence can be deadly.